All right, this is lesson 5.8, factoring linear expressions. A couple things we want to cover. We want to cover a monomial. A monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of a number and one or more variables. So when I look at this thing right down here, the 15W is a monomial and the 50 is a monomial. Together they are what's called a binomial, but each one of those things is a monomial. And to factor, the other term, to factor, means to write it as a product of its factors. You might remember doing factor trees back in grade school, where you might have had a number like 40, which is a composite number, and maybe you did a factor tree and said, well, that is 4 times 10, and 4 is not prime, so we can break it down to 2 times 2, and 10 can be broken down to 2 times 5, and I could write 40 as 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. I've factored it into primes. That's called its prime factorization. And what you have then is that number written as a multiplication problem, as a product of its factors. Another way I like to think about factoring is I like to think about it as reversing the distributive property. So to review, we did the distributive property earlier this chapter, where we might have 3 times the quantity 2p plus 7. And the distributive property means I'm going to distribute the times 3 to the 2p. That's one term, so it becomes 6p. And 3 times that second term, 7, which is 21, and then I put the plus sign back in between it. Now this has been, the distributive property has happened. If I wanted to put it back into that form, I would factor it. I would say, you know what, I'm going to write it as a multiplication problem instead of the addition problem that it is now. So I would find out what they have in common. Each term has, if you look at it, a 3 in common. 6p, well, you could get to 6p by taking 3 times 2p. So if I divided 6, maybe I should just show it that way. Divide that 6p plus 21, divide it by the common thing, and that is the greatest common factor, 3. Divide this piece by 3, and I get 2p. Divide this piece by 3, and I get 7. And then remember to put it in parentheses and put what you divided out, which is the 3. And notice it reversed it right back to 3 times the quantity 2p plus 7. So let's try that here. The first one is just a binomial, like I talked about, made up of 2 monomials. We would be looking for the greatest common factor of the 2 individual pieces. I see that 5 goes into both 15W and 50. We're looking for something that goes in evenly. And you want to find the greatest common factor if at all possible, but I'll show you that we can sometimes take out different things, okay? So if I divide out of 5, I'm basically dividing that entire thing by 5, and then I'm writing it as a product. So 5 times whatever it is once I divide it. So I take 15W divided by 5 and get 3W. I take 50 divided by 5 and I get 10. I put the plus sign back in between it. And now I would have 5 times the quantity 3W plus 10. And by the way, one way to check your work is if you did the distributive property, wouldn't it turn into 15W plus 50, which is exactly what it is. The second problem here is kind of a visual representation with an area understanding. So remember, to find the area of a rectangle, you just take length times width. So to find this 12G area, they took this width times this length. Does that make sense? We don't know what those two things are. To get this 30, they took this width times this length. And what you should notice is that this is the exact same distance as this. So they have something in common. That number they have in common, okay? And this is one where I can show you, maybe we could take out the greatest common factor, okay? I see that they're both even. So it's possible that this was a 2, and then when I divide this by 2, I get, of course, 6G. When I divide this by 2, I get 15. Now, I want to show you that. That would then look like this. 2 times the quantity, 6G plus 15. You have to be careful, though, because that's not the greatest common factor. So is it possible that this length was 2, or this width was 2, and that this was 6G and this was 15? Yeah, it's possible. But you might notice that 6G and 15 also have a 3 in it. So it could have been that you divide by 3 instead. So maybe we decide this was 3. If I divide by 3, I get 4g. If I divide by 3, I get 10. So that would look like this. 3 times the quantity, 4g plus 10. What we're going to be doing most of the time is looking for the greatest common factor. So what we'd want to do is take out a 6. Divide by 6, you get 2g. Divide by 6, you get a 5. And when we did that, I divided out by 6, and I get the quantity 2g plus 5. And the best way to do it is at the end, look at your remaining numbers, the 2 and the 5, and see if they are relatively prime. That doesn't mean they have to be prime numbers, but it means that the greatest common factor of these has to be 1 if you want it to be fully factored. This one is factored, this one is factored, but this one is fully factored because the 2 remaining monomials have no common factor other than 1. So let's practice that a couple times. Here I have 8d minus 13. I'm looking for the greatest common factor of 8d and 13. And you might notice the greatest common factor is 1, which means this one cannot be factored. So it's already in its lowest terms, okay? We'll try this one over to the right, 60 and 12. What do you see that goes into it? Okay, I see that 2 could go into it, so it's possible that this number over here is 2. I see that 3 goes into it. It's possible that that number is 3. I see that 6 goes into it, because if 2 and 3 goes into it, that 6 goes into it. And then I might even notice that 12 goes into it, so it could be any of those numbers. We're just going to do it with the greatest common factor. So I'm going to divide out a 12. That means I'm not going to choose the 6, the 2, or the 3. When I divide by 12, this becomes a 5. When I divide by 12, this becomes a 1m. And so now I would just put 12 times the quantity, 5 plus m. This one has 12j plus 24w minus 40. It has 3 monomials inside of it, okay? So we're still looking for the greatest common factor, but it has to be a greatest common factor for all 3, okay? And a lot of times, people will teach you just to go to the greatest common factor. I just tend to say, let's see what we can recognize. I see that 4 goes into all of them. So let me just start by dividing by 4, and then I'll look at it again. So I divide by 4. This guy becomes a 3j. This guy becomes a 6w. This guy becomes a minus 10. And then remind yourself you have to put what you divided out because we're writing it as a product. So I took it 4 times 3j plus 6w. You might say, well, these two have a 3 in common. They do, but this one doesn't have a 3 in common. And these two have a 2 in common, but this one doesn't have a 2 in common. So we have taken out the greatest common factor when we took out 4. So 4 times the quantity, 3j plus 6w minus 10. All right, let's try that just a couple more times. Looking for the greatest common factor. I see 6 goes into this one and this one, but not into the middle one. I see 2 goes into all of them. So let's try 2. So we're going to divide by 2. Remember that means that 2 is what we're dividing out. That would become a 3k. That would become a 5. That would become a 9b. And then I want to look at 3k, 5, and 9b and see if they have anything else in common. They don't. We have it simplified and factored. Okay, doing this problem, I can look and see, well, I see that 2 could possibly be here. 4 could possibly be here. 8 would go into 40 and 16, but not into 12. So it looks like it's going to be 4 would be our best bet for the greatest common factor. So let's divide by 4, remembering that we're setting up 4 times this quantity. And we do have 3 things. So we divide by 4 and get 10m. We divide by 4 and get 3c. We divide by 4 and get 4. I'm going to take a second and look at them, make sure nothing else goes into all 3 of them. No. So 4 times the quantity, 10m plus 3c plus 4 would then be my factored form. We've written it as a multiplication problem. So let me show you what that looks like if maybe you don't take out the greatest common factor. Let's say you look at these and you say, oh, I can take out an 8. So let me divide out an 8. Okay, well this becomes a 6. and this becomes a minus 4d. If you notice that when you look at the 6 and the minus 4d, they're not relatively prime because a 2 can also be taken out. So if you're going to do it in stages, when you divide out a 2 again, what you need to understand is what to do when you divide out that 2. So let's say we need to go ahead and divide out that 2 to get the greatest common factor and have it fully factored. Well, then that would be a 3 when I divided it, and that would become a minus 2d. But I divided out that 2. What you need to do with that 2 is take it times the 8 that you pulled out, and you really pulled out a 16. So if I would have started over and divided by 16 instead, then 48 divided by 16 is 3, and 32 divided by 16 is 2d, and we would have pulled out a 16 and got a quantity of 3 minus 2d, fully factored. On the 20f plus 36, I see that 2 could go in there. If I divided by 2, it would become 10f and 18. You see how they still have something in common. You could have taken out another 2. When you take out another 2, that would have made it a 4, which would have left me 5f and 9. And so that's the one we want to choose is the greatest common factor. So we would put 4 times the quantity 5f plus 9. And you can think about that as if you actually had this rectangle where this was a 4, and this distance right here was 5f, and this distance was 9. If I wanted to find the area, I would take 4 times 5f to find this piece, which would be 20f. And I would take 4 times 9 to get this area, which would be 36. And we'd be right back to 20f and 36. All right, a few more examples. Find the greatest common factor. I see that 4 goes into them, so I'm going to divide out a 4. That would make it 8k. That would make that 3, and we've factored into 4 times the quantity 8k minus 3. These are relatively prime, so we did pick the greatest common factor. Look for the greatest common factor. I see, let's mess this one up. Let's just go with 3. So if I only see a 3, then I divide and I get 18. And I divide by 3 and I get 21s, but 18 and 21 still have something in common. I need to divide out another 3. So let me divide that by 3. That would become 6. That would become 7s, excuse me. And then the 3 that I took out and the 3 that I took out, remember I have to multiply those, and it became 9. It was a 9 that I took out. 9 times the quantity 6 plus 7s. Next one, I see a 4, so I divide by 4. Divide that by 4, you get 5k. Divide the second monomial by 4 and you get 12. They're relatively prime, so I have it factored, fully factored. Last one, I see a 5. Divide that one, you get 7c. Divide that one, you get 10. Put the sign back in between it. They are relatively prime, so it is fully factored. Remember, what we have done is we found the greatest common factor. We divided it out and wrote this as a multiplication. It is now the product of 5 and this quantity, 7c minus 10.